Welcome back, Daydreamer. Today, we are going to customize and weather the Master Grade RGM 79 ground type. Ragtag Daydreams is sponsored by NewTypeHQ.com. So I'm really happy to be finally done with the ground type kit, at least minus some effect stuff, and I'll get into that later on. If you're looking for tips and tricks about how to make your Gunpla stand out better, look more realistic once it's painted and weathered and things like that, then you're in the right place. Basic damage, weathering, things like that, all of the whole repaint and running the wire through the kit, like all of that stuff in preparation for running LEDs for final assembly and doing the effect of the laser cutting it down from Charge the Gok. It's done. It's done. Yay! Alright, I am really excited because it means that I get to move on to working on the actual diorama very soon. Without further ado, let's get started. If you're new here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when I put out more videos in this series or others. As you can see, I am basically just going through and pre-shading all of the edges and things like that. There's not a lot of panel lines on this kit, and it just doesn't require a lot of pre-shading all of those lines. I'm pre-shading with kind of a brown color. I'm using a surface primer. It's acrylic polyurethane IDF Israeli Sand Gray 6173. This is a Vallejo product primer. I did prime this stuff in the Mr. Surfacer 1500 white. I didn't want to go back with black because I know I was going to put lighter colors down over all of this. It's going to have kind of an off-white and the orange. So the black was just too dark. It was going to show through. So I ended up using this primer because it was just the right color, and I mean it was already in the primer phase, so whatever. Okay, so for the off-white, I actually used up whatever was remaining of this inside the airbrush and then added some Vallejo Game Air white. This is actually dead white from the Game Air line. So I just added that to it until it looked right. I really don't even remember the exact ratio that I went with. It was just, that's what I used. And I think the color came out pretty good. That's the color orange that this was. I mean, it's, oh, man, that's bright. That is a bright orange. I didn't like that. So I got something that's a little darker. It's Orange Fire. This is another Vallejo Game Air product, but I ended up mixing a little bit of Bloody Red into it as well. Now, the mix of basically, I don't know, I think it was probably like 10 or 12 drops Orange Fire to 1 or 2 drops Bloody Red. Very like 10% kind of, watered down kind of thing. That's all it took, and it looks pretty good. The first round was actually painted just with the orange, and it actually came out kind of yellowy, like a golden yellow. I think that was just the nature of orange and yellow not wanting to cover things quite as opaque. So adding in a little bit of the red helped that out a lot. It got that orange tone back to it, and I think it came out pretty good. Let's take a look at panel lining. As you can see, some of the pieces the paint has chipped. Maybe you can, maybe you can't see that, but right there, yep, that's chipped. That's fine. I did not top coat this because yeah, wherever the chipping and scratching and things like that happen, I'm going to leave that, and we're going to use that as a map to weather things later. Okay, so here we go. this guy, I am going to use the brown aniline solution. So we just dip it in, just like a regular inkwell. Okay, get some on there. All right, and then we can draw in these lines. We want to keep the well, the U of the well up. Okay, let gravity hold that ink in there, and then we want to pull side to side, and that will open up this. You can just pull a little bit, and you can see this start to fill in. Fountain pen. Get your one. You guys should be used to most of my weathering methods by now, but just in case you're not, I'm using some of the same old weathering methods that I've used before, where I'll actually paint in the chipping by hand, as well as adding a lot of rust effects to this. And there's not as much new scratch as it is absolute, like, just rust and just, man, this thing has seen way, way better days. The methods that I'm using, though, that's actually something from way, way, way back. I think it's like 2 years ago now. 2 years ago, I came up with the idea to possibly make this channel, okay? And that's whenever I kind of started really thinking about it. And what got me thinking about it was my local hobby store had a Gunpla competition, and I submitted the RX-79, RX-79 ground type. So that's from 8th MS team, and it's fully weathered just like this one kind of is, but it has all the rust and stuff like that. But I made this one look like it's rusty because of the ocean, where I made that one look like it was rusty because I had little figures of people standing all over it and doing everything. If I can find the pictures, and I think I can, it's got to at least be on Instagram. I'll add that to the video so you can see. That was the kit that I won that competition with, and that was what gave me the confidence to do what I'm doing now. Reason that I'm dabbing this stuff on and then streaking it sometimes and other times not is I want it to like this is older rust and the rust stain is running. I'm not going to leave it like this, but this is my darker color. This whole red I really like for this, and then once I finish with applying the rust and any kind of streaking that I want, along with scratches, because sometimes little fine scratches like that will rust over as well, we'll go back over and hit the Tamiya Weathering Master to finish the rust look. Okay, so as you can see, I basically just went back over everything that I had hit with the whole red. And this light may be a little bright because, of course, this is my work light. I want everything to be very bright and very clear and easy to see. But I went everything with the burnt red. Okay, the burnt red. And I did that first because it does take a little more oomph to get it on there. I get a little bit better fade. And to make that rust color pop, that's whenever I go over to the actual rust color on this palette. And I'll show you this palette. It is palette C. And I went over to the actual orange rust right here. And that's what I'm using next, just to highlight any spots that need a little more of a rust running stained look, because it is a much more powerful pigment, and it does come off, you know, a lot easier. So there's a lot of orange on this kit anyway. It may end up blending in a little bit, but hopefully you can tell what I have done. I don't think I've missed anything on here. So just like that, it rubs on. It mutes some of the color from the whole red a little bit, and it makes it look like tarnished metal. To me, it looks like tarnished metal that is rusting. All right, so that's where we're gonna stand right now. I went ahead and took a little bit of footage and a couple of pictures of the Zagok and the GM next to each other, like in the poses. Took some pictures of the GM by itself. Give you guys kind of an idea at what's going on. Of course, the spot where I have everything set up, they're probably going to be a lot farther apart than what I actually have set up in this in what you're about to see. But anyway, it'll give you an idea kind of how these things are going to be set up and how they're going to interact with one another on the diorama when it's done. So really looking forward to getting started on the diorama for next week. And yeah, I guess I'll leave you with kind of the final result there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And till next time, Daydreamer, I'm Justin, your Ragtag Daydreamer, and I'll see you soon.